the second hour, 12-12-13. Welcome back. Nephi Wayman is in the wings. We're going to finish out with two callers before we bring Nephi up. I love talking to Nephi. He tells it like it is, and it's very inspiring when you talk to somebody about stuff that they're doing and there's no pretense, there's no BS. It's just, this is what I do, this is what works, and this is how I do it. Stay tuned. You're going to love talking to Nephi Wayman. Coming up in just a few minutes. Let's go to Alabama now and see what Anthony's up to. Hey, Anthony, thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Dr. G, how you doing, sir?
Very, very good, but I'll get better. How about you?
Well, we're hanging in there every day, so I can't complain. Whether it goes up or down, I cannot complain.
Well, that's the spirit, brother. That's the spirit. How can I help?
All right. I've got a young lady in Atlanta, chronic asthma, overweight, her sister says, 5'4", 300 pounds, and she's been to the doctor recently. I have two questions, as a matter of fact, this and another person. The doctor told her sister that I think she also has heart problems, I believe, and the way she's going, she's getting bigger, and so I'm trying to communicate with her sister through her sister that's here, telling me about her sister that moved. They all moved to Atlanta.
It. All right.
But
so
anyway, she's not eating the right stuff, so we're trying to.
Well, here's the thing. You want to reference the webinar that I did on obesity and weight gain because it really lines it up for people. Everybody's got it wrong. We have it wrong in this country, and that's...
Absolutely.
I mean, you just have to look around, right? Everybody's overweight.
Right.
The MDs just classified obesity as a disease. You know what that's going to do? That's going to change everything. It's going to be a runaway train with pharmaceuticals, and it's nuts. So if I were you, instead of trying to become the expert and convince her what to do, I would just point, right? So just go into the archives at my website and cut, copy, and paste the link for the obesity webinar and send it to her, and then follow up with her after she watches it. Because after she watches that webinar, she's going to want to do the program. And the program basically is, what we do is we nutrify the body, we eliminate the 10 bad foods, and then we dial in 1,500 calorie a day diet. But trying to do 1,500 calories a day with a nutritionally starved person is impossible. Trying to do 1,200 calories a day or 1,500 calories a day or less with a nutritionally satisfied person is easy. The nutrition makes all the difference in the world. So the recommendation is easy. It's just the healthy start pack and selenium appropriate for body weight. Now, the asthmatic condition demands more essential fatty acid supplementation. So I think the easiest, most cost-effective way to do that, considering her, would be instead of giving the healthy start pack, use the healthy brain and heart pack. Now, I've always thought that the healthy brain and heart pack should be called the healthy brain, heart, and lung pack. It really should, because the essential fatty acids and the selenium that are in there are most awesomely, spectacularly excellent for your lung health. So I would lean on, for her, the healthy brain and heart pack, one healthy brain and heart pack for 100 pounds of body weight per month, and one bottle of selenium for 50 pounds of body weight per month, and have her eliminate the 10 bad foods, and then dial in a 1,200 calorie a day diet. But she's going to perhaps be inspired to follow that plan if she watches the webinar and has an expert tell her to do it. And so that would be my advice there, Anthony.
Appreciate that. Second question. Talked to Dr. Wallace about my dad, Parkinson's, high blood pressure, first-stage diabetes, and then he started hallucinating 3-4 weeks ago and had to get put in the psych unit down here. And they took him off of Parkinson's medication, diabetes medication, and it seemed like he's coming back now and talking clearly. Speech is a little shaky still, and he's in rehab now. He's out of the unit, and he's in rehab. And they were saying that he's got dementia. And I told him we've got something for that. And but you know how parents are.
Well, I mean, not even my parents would listen to me, so I know exactly how you feel. My mother died of ovarian cancer.
Wow.
My father suffered for the last 10 years of his life unnecessarily with arthritis and dementia that would come and go. He didn't have really bad dementia, but it would come and go. He wouldn't listen to me. And so this is just, I feel like Noah building the ark, right?
Right.
You got to have a thick skin to do this business. But the recommendation is, well, first of all, he needs to consider that the MD's drugs made him hallucinate, because that is the single most common cause of hallucinations. Visual hallucinations is a drug reaction, right? So the MD's cause that to happen. So, that's a strike against them, but he's not going to recognize that because he was brought up to believe that the doctor is God.
Right. And he was in the Air Force, so.
So was Dr. Wallach.
Right. I told him, Dr. Wallach, because I heard you say it one day.
Yeah. So what we do then when we're up against dementia is we give the de-stress.
Okay.
So in a worst-case scenario, you give him 1 bottle of plant minerals and 1 bottle of de-stress, and just have him take that. If he does that, he's going to feel better, and then that might give him inspiration to go all in. The all-in program would be the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack and de-stress, plus a diet that's extremely high in cholesterol, because his brain is made from cholesterol, right? That's what it's made from.
Right.
So he needs more cholesterol. He needs the B vitamins, B like baby, that's in the de-stress. And, of course, he needs the 90 essential nutrients to top it off. But, sometimes with parents you have to show them. You have to, show them the money. You have to give them results.
Oh, yeah.
So I would start with the de-stress and 1 bottle of the plant minerals or the cherry mints. Cherry mints might go down easier.
Yeah.
See if he notices a difference, and if he does, then you're all in. Thanks for the call, Anthony. I got to move along. Keep up the good work in Alabama, brother. All right, man. I appreciate you. Let's go to Pennsylvania now and see what's going on with Linda. Hey, Linda. Thanks for the phone call. You are live.
Thank you, Dr. Glidden. I have a question about Achilles tendon. I am being challenged with both of my heels. They're very, very sore when I am on them, and I notice when I'm off of them, it calms down. It's not painful, only painful, the soreness,
Yeah.
And I am doing the 2.0 healthy bone and joint pack. And I just wanted to see what kinds of things can I do to help to eliminate this tendinitis.
Well, the only other thing that you can do is you can increase the amount of plant minerals and calcium that you're taking, or you got to stop eating the 10 bad foods. Have you done that yet?
I am basically on a gluten-free diet. There's sometimes that might shift off a little bit, but basically I am on a gluten-free diet.
What about fried food? Have you gotten away from that yet?
Yes, I have.
Oh, good girl. Very, very good. So that's very important. So the only time that medical nutrition fails is if you're not taking enough or you're not absorbing enough. And if you haven't also given the program enough time, how long have you been doing this?
Well, I've been doing it quite a while. And I had the Achilles tendon for a long time, and then it got better when it was, back in July, and now it's coming back now that the weather's changed.
Oh, yeah. So here's what I'd like you to do for 14 days as an experiment, okay?
Uh-huh.
For the next 14 days as an experiment, I want you to do 1 ounce of the white liquid calcium in 2 ounces of orange juice 4 times a day. I want you to do 1 ounce 4 times a day of the white liquid calcium. 1 ounce 4 times a day for the next 2 weeks, and see if that changes the nature of the pain that you feel in the Achilles area. Now, if it does, that means that you're just not taking enough calcium into your body, and so I would maintain a higher dose of calcium for 4 to 8 weeks. That's really probably all that you'll need. I think you just need more. because your body's been dealing with this for a long time. You've been eating gluten for a long time. Now you're gluten-free, and it's going to take a while for your body to get back on track and start absorbing the nutrients that you're taking. Because as God is my witness, once you've cleaned up your diet, the only thing that stands in the way of medical nutrition effecting a positive change is the quantity that you're taking. So in order to figure this out, the next thing for you to do is just overdo it with the liquid calcium for 2 weeks and see if that takes care of it. So give me a call back. And
how much orange juice did you say?
1 or 2 ounces, just a little bit, 1 or 2 ounces, because the acid in the orange juice helps your body to absorb the calcium.
Okay.
All
okay.
Right.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Now, the calcium that I have is not liquid. Is it okay that I take that?
Which one is it?
The 2.0,
Yeah, so you mix that up into a liquid, right?
Right.
Yeah, and I got insider information. You might already be doing this, but the powder of the calcium powder that's in the 2.0
right.
dissolves better into what you're mixing it with if you shake it instead of stir it.
Oh.
So get one of those plastic sport bottle container things and put the white powdered calcium in that and shake it. Or if you have a blender, that's more of a pain in the neck though. Put it in the blender, it'll go into concentrate right away. But I bet you right now that it's a little lumpy when you're drinking it down, is it?
Right.
Yeah, it's a little lumpy. We don't want it to be lumpy. We want it all to be dissolved in the liquid. So shake it up from now on. Or put it in a blender and, do 4, once you make it up in the appropriate amounts, do 4 ounces a day for 2 weeks. And call me back with a report. Thanks, Linda. I appreciate you. Nephi Wayman is up next, folks. You're going to love it. Call everybody in your longevity business and have them tune in to the next few segments. We're going to take it home with Nephi Wayman. All right. We are back in black this Thursday. Gives me a great deal of satisfaction to introduce to the listening audience one of my old longevity friends. I've known Nephi probably just about as long as I've known anybody in longevity. And I've watched Nephi's grow his business from a small little thing into the giant that it is today. Great guy to talk to. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome aboard Mr. Nephi Wayman. Thanks for coming, Nephi. You are live.
Dr. G, thank you for the vine. It's an honor to be with you today.
So, Nephi, I hear that you're calling us from the wilds of, where are you anyway, man?
You are not going to believe this, Dr. G. I'm in a traffic jam in the town of Nephi, Utah. It really is. There's a town named after me. Actually, it was named probably 100 years before me, but I am here right now, just by coincidence.
Wow, you got to love it. I love it when things like this happen. So, Nephi, how many years have you been involved with longevity?
I found it in June of 2001, so about 12 and a half years.
And what were you doing for a profession? How were you making your bread and butter before longevity?
I was a plumber. I was the guy you called if your toilet didn't flush or your water heater blew up or whatever. My bumper sticker said, number 1 and a number 2 business.
And how many years had you been plugging away at plumbing?
Oh, my goodness. It was pretty quick after high school age when I got into that profession, so quite a few years.
Yeah.
I'd seen it all more than I'd want to admit.
Yeah, I bet, right? Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, I can imagine. I knew a plumber in Massachusetts, and the logo on the side of his trucks, believe it or not, was, "Don't sleep with a drip. Call your plumber."
That's a good one, Dr. G. I love it. There's another one, since you mentioned bread and butter. The guy that introduced me to it says, don't knock plumbing, man. He says, everybody else's crap is our bread and butter.
Yeah, you gotta love it.
That German word you're so familiar with, you know.
Yeah, I'm aware of it. So how long with longevity did it take you to replace the income that you were making as a plumber? How many years did it take for that to happen?
Oh, my goodness. That was a long time ago. Probably about 2 years.
2 years.
I know our first goal was to replace my wife's income. We were both working. I was working 2 jobs full-time at that time, and we replaced hers within about 6 months. And then to replace everything I was doing took about another year and a half or so. But, yeah, it was, to me, it just went by like a flash. It was amazing. It was so much fun, I guess is the thing.
So, you know, I've talked to lots of longevity distributors all around the world and all different walks of life and all different religious and cultural persuasions, and some people moan that it's such a hard business to do and that nobody listens and it's a hard sell, and other people find it very easy to do, and I'm left wondering to myself, what's going on here? So from your point of view, you know, as a guy that generates results with longevity, big-time results, what's the secret to having a successful longevity business? No BS. What do people need to do in order to get it done?
Well, my story is a little bit unique in how I found it. I basically heard Doc on the radio. I was literally on my way to a plumbing job. Heard Doc on the radio make this outlandish statement, and he says, a day without a hamburger is like a day without sunshine. You know, he's talking gluten-free one, of course. And it shocked my system because I had one in my hand eating it when he said that. I never heard of Doc, never heard that doctor, never heard anything. And I went from there to the lady that called in the show, similar to yours, where they're calling and asking questions on health. And the caller that called in right after I tuned in was a lady asking about allergies and hay fever, which my wife, she had suffered with for most of her life. I'm not talking just sniffles. I'm talking beyond miserable, just terrible. And he had the audacity to say, oh, that's easy, and give the recipe, and said, by the way, I'm speaking live tonight in Salt Lake City. So we went and listened to him and bought the stuff, and they gave us a Dead Doctors Don't Lie cassette tape and sent us home with the stuff. And I listened to that tape, and frankly, it blew my mind. I mean, I started sharing it immediately. Before I knew the product, whether or not the product was going to work, I started sharing that immediately. And when I shared it, most of the people, you know, like in the knuckleheads they are, they said, oh, that's a lie, that's bullcrap. If that was true, our doctor would tell us. But the few said, that's very interesting, tell me more. And so that's how I got started, just by sharing a good idea.
You got to love it.
I do.
You got it. Shares a good idea. That's all you need to do. Ladies and gentlemen, more with the man himself, Nephi Wayman, when we come back. Stick around. You know what you're listening to. This is Fire Your MD Now. And we're back. 12/12/13. Another live event. You got to love the live events. Dr. Peter Glidden. Tonight, it's going to be a live chat, worldwide live chat. Last time we did a worldwide live chat, we had South Korea, we had Australia, we had Chile, we had London, we had Germany, we had the United States, Canada, Alaska, and Hawaii. Longevity's going worldwide, ladies and gentlemen. What are you waiting for? Or, I mean, what's it going to take? What is your tipping point? Visit the website and let us help you get your health back and get your wealth back, too, if you'd like to do that. FireYourMDNow.com. Just go to the website, FireYourMDNow.com. We're talking to Nephi Wayman. Nephi, are you still with me?
I am still here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're coming in perfect. Nephi and Nephi, how about that? The Lord works in mysterious ways. Now, all right, so Nephi, just lay it out for me, man. How do you find people to talk to? What do you say to them? What do you do with them? And how do you make it work?
Well, there's a lot of ways to find people, Dr. G. But if you basically shut up and shut your mouth, open your ears, people will all but tell you everything you need to know to help them. And that's how I have gotten most of the people that I've gotten. And then from there, show them how to do the same thing. And they refer and they refer and they refer and so on and so on. I'd say 95% of the people I've found that way. And there's other ways you can do it through advertising and things like that. But with social media today, Facebook and Twitter and all that other BS and just normal everyday conversations, listening to people complain either about the lack of health, the lack of money, or the lack of time, And you just ask a simple question like, are you open to an idea? And if they go on babbling on and they're not open, then you just have to watch them bleed a while. And then maybe next year they'll come back.
Right.
I had a fellow that I talked to over 10 years ago, and he just wasn't interested. He just blabbed on. And here 10 years later, he asked me, hey, you know any way I can make some extra money? He wanted to set up a handyman business. And I said, well, how about that thing I showed you 10 years ago? And this time he did. and he just sprouted his first SEMD as of 2 days ago. So
you gotta love
that's my favorite way. I mean, really, unless you're a damn hermit, you're going to have people telling you all about their problems every day. You just have to listen. And then if they're open to an idea, great. If they're not, don't bother them. You know, just shake their hand, you know, comment on the weather or the lousy jazz or, you know, Utah jazz or whatever it is, you know.
Yeah, I get it. All right, so what would you say, and I don't know if there's an answer to this question, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. What would you say is an average closure rate with signing people up to longevity? Is it 1 out of 10? Is it 1 out of 20? Is it 1 out of 100? Is it 1 out of 5? How many people are you finding that you and members of your group need to talk to in order to get one person interested?
Well, basically, if you take them all the way through the system, and we have a very simple little system, if we take them all the way through the system, 9 out of 10 will go for it. If they don't make it through the introduction, or what we call the invite, then, you know, maybe 1 out of 20, 1 out of 20 bites on the invite, but I don't know, more like 3 out of 20 will bite on the invite, which is Dead Doctors Don't Lie. You know, after that initial conversation you have with them, you find out what's bothering them. You see if they're open to an idea, and from there, for instance, a guy has a money problem, like the heart that I was just telling you about. He's got a money problem. And I basically say, are you open to an idea? And I lend him the CD and said, this is what I'm doing. If you're interested, let's talk. And so from there, attending the presentation, and if they like that, then sign up and get going.
Now, how often do members of your growing, successful longevity groups have live presentations? How often does that happen?
Oh, gracious. We do a lot online, webinars and such. And, by the way, Fire Your MD Now site is an integral part of our system. For somebody who has a health concern, they go straight from the CD to whatever webinar you have that addresses their concern. And from there, they go to the presentation that Blake and Todd do on the webinar, tells the rest of the story, and then from there, they go ahead and get the package that applies to them. That's as simple as that.
Boom,
and
boom,
even
boom.
Even people coming into the money, interested in that end of it, I actually require them to view your webinar, called the Introduction to Longevity that you do. You have several of them. I require them to go to that before they even get to work with me.
Yeah.
And, just to sum up what you're asking me, is it hard? Is it easy? Of course it's not easy, because if it was, every wimp would be doing it. But it is very simple. And what we do is extremely simple. And I don't have any issues with it. I don't care if 7 out of 10 say no thanks. I'm still friends with them. I just got to watch them bleed a while till they realize they're on the wrong path, using the wrong recipe, getting the wrong result.
Right. Yeah. It's very interesting, isn't it? That this is a real study in human psychology, is trying to show people the light of medical nutrition, and also just trying to give people a clue about a way that they can really, truly make some nice residual income. When people hook on to that idea, once that horse is out of the barn, it's never going back. So how important, if at all, are live events that members of your group orchestrate? Or is it mostly webinars, or do you use live events, or what's the deal with that?
Well, it's a combination of the above, but live events are indispensable. I don't care how much technology you have. Until you can shake a guy's hand, look him in the eye, you can't tell if he's full of crap or not.
Right.
And basically, I was telling one of my leaders today, live events are probably, if I was to measure the one tool that has the biggest impact on my business, it would be live events, whether that be a a live meeting where you can actually talk to somebody that's been on the products a while and gotten good results, or whether it's a Super Saturday or one of our regional, like a CEO training, like where I met you in San Diego, or a big national convention. Those events, that what I consider as a tool, has probably had the single biggest impact on my business of any other tool we have.
Now,
other than, of course, Dead Doctors. We use that like candy.
Yeah, right, Dead Doctors, right. So when your members of your longevity group have a live event, how long is the event, and what do they do during the event?
Well, if you're talking a whole meeting, it's just a little get-together, and it can have as few as 5 or as many as 35 packed in somebody's living room. And we basically would just view a video, company video or whatever, and have people get up and tell their stories, maybe go through a little slideshow for the bigger event. If not, just stay with the video. And then oftentimes that's where I'll pull up your site and show them, they see all the different tools that we have available and show them on the screen how to do that. But if it's talking to Super Saturday, like we're having 3 of them this weekend. We're having one in Charlotte, North Carolina, Salt Lake City, Utah, and St. George, Utah. And they go from 9 to 2 on Saturday. And we have product training, business skills training, personal skills training, what we call the Wallach Minute, where we touch on one of Doc's books or a CD. And then we have a guest speakers that come in from other areas and other markets, and they kind of tell their story. So that gets around this whole thing about, the king is not without respect except for he's in his own country,
Yeah.
So you got a big guy like Lance and Susan Gubler out of St. George. Well, they're local people there go, whatever, it's just the Gublers. Well, they come up to Salt Lake or they go to North Carolina, man, they're heroes.
Right.
And so we just swap speakers like that, and it works great. People are always ready to hear another story from another market.
And how frequently does your group do a Super Saturday? Is that once a month?
Every month, yep. Every month on second Saturday we do it, come hell or high water. And in this case, frozen roads.
Yeah, frozen roads in Nephi, Utah. That's just a riot.
Yes,
Nephi is in Nephi. So where are you headed, Nephi? Are you going to do a longevity event? What's going on?
I am just basically pointed towards Salt Lake City. We got a whole meeting tonight, and then I'm going to turn around and go the other way this weekend and do the Super Saturday down in St. George.
Yeah.
So.
Now, when your group has a home meeting, how important is product sales or sampling during the home meeting, or don't you get into that at all?
We always do. Basically, Doc always says you can't sell out of an empty wagon. We refer to the little kid with a lemonade stand on the corner. If you stop by and want some lemonade and he only had enough for him to drink, well, it's not going to be a very good business. Right. So we always have a couple extra Healthy Start packs, not a huge amount, but just enough to set up a little display out in the kitchen. We'll have a few extra Healthy Start packs. My girls will bring along, and they'll mix up some BTT. And occasionally we'll have some true triple chocolate or something. People seem to be, if you give them chocolate, that puts them in a better mood and all that. We figured that's the secret sauce for the home meeting. So, seems to work.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Now, you've been involved with longevity for over a decade now. What are some of the most remarkable health recoveries you've witnessed with your own eyes?
Oh, man, there's been so many. I know you asked me earlier to pick what the top 2 or 3, and I had a hard time with that because there's so many, and there's so many good ones. But the one that I want to talk, well, first of all, my wife, I talked about her allergies, and that's really what interested me in the very beginning. It took about 6 weeks on Doc's recipe, and it's basically today's version of the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack and a product called Noni Plus Plus for the temporary product, just for the kind of the first aid aspect of it. And she went from not being able to go out of the house during the summertime, basically for 3 or 4 months during the summer. She could not leave the house without paying for it for days. She was over that in 6 weeks.
Wow.
And I mean, I'm talking, I'd go to the park with the kids. I had to leave Mama home, or you go up. We have mountains 30 minutes from our house. we go out in the mountains for a picnic or fishing or whatever, we always had to leave Mama home. She just couldn't go out. I mean, her airways would stuff up to where she couldn't even breathe. And that was gone in 6 weeks, never been back. But the one I want to talk about is a gal by the name of Tawana. I'm sure you know her. She's from the St. George area. And when they came to us, she had fibromyalgia so bad that she could not even hardly get out of bed. We didn't even meet her for the first 2 or 3 months. Her husband came, and he took her the product and all that. But she was able to go from somebody who could hardly get out of bed to somebody that's fully functional. You'd never really know it. She's not 100% out of the woods. She's probably 99% out of the woods. And the remarkable part of that, well, there's two things to it. One is, when they first came along, they could not afford the product. They didn't have the money for the product. And they were trying to figure out how to do that. They had just lost a couple of businesses. They had lost a couple of rental properties. Loren still had his day job, which wasn't cutting it. And she was so sick she couldn't get out of bed. She's in bed 18 hours a day. And
hold on to that thought, Nephi. We're up against a hard break. I really want to hear the rest of this story. We're doing it up, ladies and gentlemen, the old-fashioned way with Nephi from Nephi, Utah. Stick around. We'll be back after these messages. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Dr. Peter Glidden, your steadfast advocate for health. Finishing up today's live event, 12/12/2013, with Nephi Wayman, one of the top longevity distributors, and he's telling us a quite remarkable testimonial that he witnessed with someone in his downline suffering from fibromyalgia. Okay, Nephi, pick it up where you left off.
All right. So she was so sick she couldn't get out of bed 18 hours a day. Her husband's working 2 jobs, and they couldn't come up with the money to pay for what she needed. And so we showed them the business, which was really, the business consists of sharing good ideas, and showed them how to share a CD. And she had a choice. She didn't have enough money to make the house payment, but she went ahead and bought 100 Dead Doctors Don't Lie CDs. We told her to buy 10, but she said, I do not have the strength to lift my head. I can't make follow-up calls. So we're going to get the CDs out, and whichever ones come back to us, that's the ones we'll work with. And so she did. She bought 100 CDs. Several of them made it back. People were interested. She happened to bump into the community swimming pool. She was over there soaking in the sauna. Bumps into 80-year-old Violet Voss. I think you know her.
I do.
And from there, let me just say many thousands have heard the message. And today, Tawana, if I'm not mistaken, is in 6 figures annually in her income. Of course, they saved the house. They got a new car. Loren bought a horse with his car bonus.
Wow.
Her husband bought a horse
with his car bonus. That's got to be a first.
Yeah. But there's 2 lessons to this story. One is you give the body what it needs that does amazing things, and in her case, reversed that problem she had. The other thing is if we had just given them product, like the government likes to do, just give people stuff, that would have deprived her of this opportunity, and it would have deprived about 4,000 other people of the message. But we said, this is how you earn it. This is how you earn the product that you need. Share this idea. Help us get the word out. And she took it and ran with it, and she's one of the most successful distributors we have today. So,
boy, you got to love that. I mean, that's the rags to riches. I mean, that's like that's a great Christmas. It's unbelievable.
3 years, Dr. G. I mean, we're talking less than 3 years this happened.
Less than 3 years with longevity. Not only is she out of bed and able to function the way that God intended her body to function, but she's also risen from poverty to a 6-figure income in 3 years. Yeah. I mean, that's got to give you pause.
Yep.
That's really great. Now, how did they hear about you?
Well, it was a series of referrals again. Probably, Trudy Anderson, Corky Mann, just a long string of referrals. Probably 6 people away from me referred them. So
now, what would have so this, which begs the question, right? What would have happened had the person that told her our message not told her our message that day? What would have happened had that person not gone out of their way to make a difference in the life of somebody else. She might be dead. They might have lost their house. God only knows what would have happened. I can tell you what, she wouldn't have gotten any better, because this stuff just doesn't go away magically. And this is one of, I can't stress this enough, folks, this is one of the best reasons to be involved with longevity. Because longevity attracts to itself people who want to help people. People who will go out of their way to be criticized. People who don't care about standing up in the face of convention and telling people the way that it is, and possibly suffering, the backlash of recrimination because of it. This is the type of people that longevity attracts. People who care about the welfare of other human beings. It's a great group of people to be involved with, and Nephi is one of the best. Nephi, regretfully, we're all out of time. I appreciate everything that you do, brother. Keep up the good work, and go knock them out in Nephi, Utah.
All right. Thanks, Dr. G.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you've done it again. You've wasted another perfectly 2 good hours listening to good old Dr. Glidden. We're doing it again tonight at 8 o'clock Central Time for Insiders Only. Check it out. Worldwide live chat for Insiders Only. Go to fireyourmdnow.com for the details. God willing and the creek don't rise. I'm back in the saddle tomorrow, where we're going to start our conversation of the most remarkable medical stories of 2012. It's going to blow your mind. See you then.